Hi Aries, this is your homework family reading for all Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, Aries signs for July 1st through the 15th. Now, I'm only stopping because as soon as I started to record, look who come running in the room. It's like, reading? What? I'm coming for the reading. I couldn't help myself. I had to laugh at that one. Before I get any further, the bell just helps to ring out some of the negativity. And hey, what can I say? Everybody calls me bells anyway. So, obviously, the bell and me have an importance within our spiritual work. Okay, Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. The very first thing I'm being told, or I'm feeling, actually, in the spiritual energy is, I feel very motivated. I mean, kind of like, everything's off my shoulders and let's just go. Like you threw it to the wind and you're ready to go and just truck right on through. It's pretty much what I'm feeling from Spirit right now. However, with this, I'm also feeling a little bit scatterbrained. And it kind of goes with the Aries energy in general. But I'm feeling, very go, go, go and a little scatterbrained. And I feel like you're definitely in your fire power, your fire energy. You're feeling pretty healthy within that natural form of what you are. And I feel like that's a very good thing. But I do have some situations going on. Let me double check my notes real fast, because as I started the reading, it shifted a little bit. Like I said, I feel a little bit scatterbrained. I feel like you're really on the go. You're ready to make changes. But I know in astrology, there is some negativity there. And it's definitely going to be speaking a little bit in the beginning of the month, especially. But I want to find, there's a good chance you're not wanting to follow your intuition, or you have some fear of failure, so you're questioning yourself on that, which would go with the negativity, and I'll explain that in a minute. Being inflexible and thinking maybe you know everything, wanting everything to go at your pace, not necessarily at the best pace of what is best for the situation and everyone involved. And you may be having a little problem with speaking your truth with a little bit of fear of authority. I was going to say Spirit is definitely telling me almost, it's going to have to do with the third eye and your throat chakra. Everything for July 1st through 15th is going to be dealing with your third eye and your throat chakra. Now, that also has to do with Mercury going retrograde on the 7th. So that makes complete sense. But you're ruled by Mars, and it's going to be sitting on top of Mercury while it's going retrograde. So that's why I said right now, I feel there is some negative energy there. But in astrology, Aries, and if you most astrologers don't speak of Aries. Aries is what Spirit has told me to evaluate it as Medusa. She's trouble, toil, strife. And she is, she speaks to you of where you've been served full of injusticeness, more or less. And she's in your universal first house. So this is coming into your self-awareness of where you feel injustice of who you are. I don't know why, but I'm being told to tell you something. Aries rules the head, the face, the brain, the eyes. You're ruled by Mars, which is also dealing with your red blood cells, your natural oxidation in the body. Excuse me, I kind of need my notes. It is your assertive planet. It is, in general, it's where I always say is your inner SWAT team, your inner sexuality. You may be dealing with your sacral chakra, so it's going to be more of your sacral chakra, your throat chakra, and your third eye is what they're giving me. Aries is Medusa. She's in your first house, which is specifically dealing with yourself, your self-awareness, your physical body, your personality, your appearance, your view of life, your identification, and the image of who and what you are. And the reason Aries is important to you right now is because, like I said, she's Medusa. She's looking at anything that you feel injustice about. So I feel you're like, the gloves are off, we're done, and goodbye. And I'm moving on to the next subject. And I feel like there's no hesitation here. And this is why I feel the scatteredness is coming in. Because in some of these areas, maybe you're jumping the gun too fast. Some of them. I do feel like the jumping the gun and going is part of who and what you are, but it's the fire energy of who and what you are. But that back of the head energy, because what's coming in is some negativity I have in the back of the head. And I know already that's Medusa talking her shit to you. And the reason it's so important for you to understand that is I believe she's going to be leaving Aries and going into Taurus sometime in, I believe, July. The chart I have that I follow with her, I can't pinpoint the day. It's not a specific chart that carries her all the time, and I have to check back, but it feels like the energy is going to be moving out, which means directly whatever she's been trying to get through your head from the injusticeness, from bitterness, trouble, toil, strife, that's coming in your self-awareness, your self itself, your physical body, your personality, your appearance, your identification of who and what you are, and your image. Something about this energy, if she's been trying to strike a chord and help you heal a part of you, she's going to be pointing it out incredibly powerfully right now, because she's running out of time. She's about to move into a new sign. So this is why I'm being told to say it this way. And I know this has to do with bringing it to your awareness and really dealing with it, which is going to be dealing with that sacral chakra, how you feel about yourself. I always say the sacral chakra is your inner belly dancer. The inner belly dancer, no matter how in shape or out of shape they are, is able to look in that mirror, feel good about themselves, put on the clothing that they want, and still feel sexy, feel good about themselves. You know, and if you don't feel good about yourself, that is your inner Medusa, trying to point out why and what it is that's keeping you from feeling good about yourself. So it's a message to learn that lesson now, so that as we move into all the changes that are coming over the next 20 years, this is a big high alert of helping you understand what that is, so that you are on the right side of yourself as you move forward. And that's why that's so important. Plus, Chiron is in the sign. Chiron wants to heal the situation, but Medusa can't be healed. You must learn to surrender it, release it, and let it go, because it's part of your past that should not bother you anymore. You need to put it to rest and then reclaim your power within that energy. And like I said, from the 1st to the 15th, if there's something she hasn't been able to get through your thick head, she's going to be getting it through now, because she's running out of time. Now, when I look into astrology itself, we do have Mars, which is your ruling planet, moving into Leo on July 1st. Now, I'll get back and I'll re-look all of that up in a minute and really kind of walk through it a little bit better with you. You have the solar eclipse and the new moon in Cancer, both taking place on July 2nd. You have Venus moving into Capricorn on July 3rd. Mercury is going retrograde, coming back over your planet, starting on July 7th. And all of this will be leading us up to the lunar eclipse, where the major release takes place, and a higher enlightenment from you have the solar eclipse, which is bringing in an illumination of something you need to understand, you need to heal, you need to work on between that solar eclipse and that lunar eclipse, because the lunar eclipse is how you heal it and you release it and you let it go, so that you can start to move forward. This is a very big time for these energies right now, and they're very powerful, trust me. These energies are really leading us to the Lion's Gate in September, where a major ascension is capable of taking place. Much larger than we've typically spoken about in the past. But the full moon and the lunar eclipse is going to take place in Cancer on the 16th. Not Cancer, on Capricorn. So it's going from Cancer to Capricorn. And these energies of Cancer and Capricorn are in opposition of each other, and that's where you have your Pluto and your Saturn and your South Node with rules, walls, and boundaries. That's what it was. I'm sorry, Spirit. It was like you forgot that part. Everything about the 1st through the 15th is the sacral chakra, the throat chakra, the crown chakra, and the rules, walls, and boundaries, setting them properly. That's what they say it all together. Just crumble everything else I'm about to tell you up. And, I mean, I can speak through it, and I can walk you through it, but they're like, point blank. Sacral chakra, throat chakra, crown chakra, rules, walls, and boundaries. You get that right, you'll be good to go. And you'll be resetting the direction, starting right in your self-awareness, because that's the universal first house. Rules, walls, boundaries is coming from Capricorn. Coming in Saturn, and from Saturn, which is talking about your limitations, your withholdings of these rules, walls, and boundaries. And then you have your spiritual evolution taking place there too, because that's where Pluto is death, decay, and destruction for renewal, rebirth, regeneration. For you, this is the universal 10th house. The 10th house is where your honor, your reputation is, your prestige is, your professional life, your professional career, how your financial success is created. It is the community that deals with that financial success. It is your social foundations, duty, authority, and responsibilities. Rules, walls, and boundaries are shifting in this area for you to find soulfully how to make it serve you. But it is fighting the answer, it's fighting what you're going to be learning from yourself during the solar eclipse on the 2nd, and that is the sun, the moon, the north node. Okay, all in Cancer. So it's going to be a face-off with yourself of the universal 4th house, of your home, your inner child, your family, land, your personal foundations, your roots, your inner emotional security. This is speaking to you of your upbringing, the true and real self of who and what you are, what the roots that created you to be the wonderful hot mess that you are, so that you can figure out what part of the hot mess you need to heal and what part is leading you in the right direction. Okay? It is also your karmic lessons. It's where reincarnation is created, that universal 4th house. It is fighting the outer community, which again is your prestige, it's your reputation, it's your professional world in general. And these two are going to be facing off because there's something that's going to be, you're going to learn about the roots of who and what you are, your self-awareness, and where that makes proper changes or needs to be making proper changes within the outer world. Okay, this is what you're going to definitely be seeing as you make these changes. That's why I feel like, although you're jumping the gun and you just threw it all off your shoulders and you're not tolerating it anymore, and that's good. You're figuring out who you are. But I feel like, don't jump the gun so fast that you burn a bridge you may find out you need. Hold on a little bit, at least until you make it to that lunar eclipse on the 16th, and see what it reveals to you, because you may find, not that you should be holding on to something that's not serving you, but maybe it's, I feel like steering a direction the correct way, and you're learning how and what that direction truly needs to be. Of course, put things to rest that don't serve you, but also make sure you're really truly understanding the roots that created you to be who you are, why they're the way they are, what about them needs healing, because that's affecting your self-awareness, your self-values, your self-esteem, your body, your life, your points of view of how you see life, and your very image. And is the image that you want others to see the image you're creating? It's how it's coming together is what I feel like. Now, also, like I said, you have Mars, Jera, or Ura, and Mercury all in that 5th house, which is definitely speaking to you about your pursuit of pleasure. This is where this communication is coming in, because Mercury is going to be going retrograde, but sitting, like I said, right on top of Mars, which is definitely bringing in that sacral chakra. It's bringing in how you feel about yourself, but just as importantly, it's speaking to you about how you feel about yourself and what part of that is dealing with your pursuit of pleasure. Your children, your creativity. This deals with lovers. This deals with your personal interests, gambling, hobbies, sports, teaching, drama, creative expression. This is even how we meet and start dating, the people we date. This is speaking to you about how you enjoy your life. Your communication in Mars, bringing that sacral chakra energy of how you feel about yourself, has a lot to do with how you create and enjoy your life. And you're going to be noticing that this energy more or less is marinating. And it's speaking to you about the direction that you need to shift your life in general to be. But Mars and Mercury until the 7th is technically in shadow. So it's kind of like picking things apart. And I told you already that's Medusa. Okay, Medusa is speaking to this energy. But once it goes retrograde, Medusa is still going to be there. But I say when we're in Mercury retrograde, it's when I say you might want to watch your word vomit a little bit. There's ways to say things to people, and then there's just ways of blurting it out and blowing up. Guys, you're Aries. We know you do this. So this is, like I said, I'm trying to tell you that I feel like they're saying, you're in the right idea. You're moving in the right direction. You're gung-ho and ready to go. But slow down just a little bit, because the mind is squirrely and it's going too fast. And when it's going too squirrely and Mercury's in retrograde, you may say some things that you can't necessarily fix. So think it through. Basically, I call it the word vomit, where before you know it, you're like, I actually said that out loud. And we all do that. But I feel like I'm being told to really tell you to watch over that. Now, I am being told for all signs, there's something going on with the number 8. It's major abundance coming in for the number, and it may deal, first off, I'm being told all signs on the 7th. 7/7, July 7th, the day Mercury goes retrograde. Pay close attention to what's going on in your life, because I have a feeling that is a lot deeper than what we realize about resetting the proper direction. Things that are said and done and actions that are made that day are really going to make a driving difference as to the direction and how things are set. But I'm also being told to pay attention to the 8th and the number 8 for the month. And for me, 8 speaks of infinity, so it's the never-ending, where you're moving the never-ending. Because infinity goes on forever. So do we as a soul. Even if we have different lives, I feel like it's redirecting that soul's direction. The soul's purpose is coming in at this time. But 8 also speaks to us of a karmic energy. So it's abundance in all of its glorious forms, including karmic. That's important, is what I'm being given for this month. So you've got 7/7, July 7th, and also July 8th. But I feel like 8 is all month long. But I feel like I'm supposed to be telling you people also on the 8th. Now, as I start really looking at... Let me move this real fast so that I can get into the cards next. Am I going the wrong direction in my little book here? I think I am. I am. Okay, Aries, where do I see there's just so much going on, like every single day. There's either a grand trine, a water trine, a T-square, and stuff is shifting every single day. But you do have your universal 4th and 5th house the whole time is speaking to Pisces, which is Neptune, which is now gone retrograde, which I keep telling everybody with Neptune in retrograde. And with Lilith there, this is also speaking about our sacral chakra. And truly getting to the depths of who and what we are, relighting our fire, coming to understand ourselves and like ourselves. But if we're not healing ourselves, then that can actually go into a self-sabotage. So this has to be healing of understanding who and what you are, coming through that universal 12th house, which is also speaking to you of how you create your magic, what nostalgia you're holding on to, where you're not moving forward because you're holding on to your subconscious, you're holding on to your hidden self, you're holding on to your karmic debts, self-deception, mental illness, self-sacrifice, self-undoing, bad habits. This is where I keep saying for up until like November, we're going to be dealing with changing our addictions, patterns, and habits, where those addictions, patterns, and habits no longer serve us, but we've been doing it for so long that we haven't even acknowledged they no longer serve us. It's just become incorporated in our everyday routine, and they're like our skeletons in the closet, which are actually working against us. We're starting to realize we have to become conscious of these things and make these changes. But with Lilith being here with Neptune, are you going to create new and healthy because of what you learn? And are you going to allow that sexual energy of Lilith to drive you in a positive way, or keep driving the negative? Is really what you're going to be seeing. And that's coming from the roots of who and what you are, universal 4th house to the universal 12th house. You're going to be noticing that for most of this time. Most of your energy, I mean, your energy really is kind of all over the board. But most of your energy I'm seeing really is taking place in your self-motivation, your action-oriented self, your self-assertiveness, and your free will to believe in your self-identity, and your ego and your introverted side versus the ego. How will you take the introverted, heal it, learn to love it, accept it, caress it, so that you can express it outwardly to the rest of the world, is really what I feel like I'm getting. And that's what I get mainly out of astrology, because like I said, I don't have enough time to go over every single day. There's just too much going on. So that's what I'm going to give you for the 1st through the 15th. Now, since this is the deck that jumped right out and started speaking, where does Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus find themselves in the beginning of July? Where does Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus find themselves in the beginning of July? Where does Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus find themselves in the beginning of July? Well, kind of called it. Oh, there's 2 here. 3 here. Okay. Queen of Swords, first thing out. And I've been saying very action-oriented, very thinking, but scattered thinking. And with it getting... I'm being given right now that your Queen of Swords, depending on how you're thinking, can definitely be coming in from an egotistical way. So you may definitely want to step back, because what I'm getting is some very rotten energy, more or less. If you're dealing with situations from the past that emotionally, mentally, spiritually, soulfully are rotten, yes, you need to put it to rest. But still, there's a right way and a wrong way of how to deal with things. It's not off with her head or their head. Because that's what the Queen of Swords is. And the Queen of Swords is, gets picked on a lot because she always has the head right here, off with their head. This is speaking to you of Fire, cardinal energy. It's a beginning energy. It's emotionally sensitive. It's intellectual thinking. It's very much the beginning of thinking, but she's the queen. She's learned some lessons. She knows some shit. She also isn't about to be taken for granted anymore. And I feel like you're definitely coming into this energy, but there's a way of doing it. You don't want to hold on to the rottenness, is what I'm being told. Because the rottenness, even if you're cutting its cords, and you're holding on to the rottenness with it, you haven't cut its cords. You're still holding on to it. This is what I'm trying to say. There's... You can think one thing, but if you're still holding on to the thinking, even if you've cut it out of your life, it's still there. Is what I'm being given. This is a very powerful card of moving forward because it's being backed up with the 7 of Swords and the 8 of Swords. Okay? And this is why, as soon as I started getting the rotten energy, I went right into what I was having to say. Because the 7 of Swords speaks to you of overthinking. Uselessness is what is coming with it. Pointless, self-sabotage, self-doubt. This is Aquarius, Saturn, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, the Moon, Mercury. All of these. This is like I said, a marinated combination of energy. I feel like combination of rot, which is what's driving her. And I'm being told then you have the interference that's coming in. The interference is the 8 of Swords, which is saying indecisions. Can't make up your decision because you're still overthinking it because of the 7 of Swords. This is definitely dealing with most likely a Libra, Gemini, or Aquarius, and it's in Jupiter because I just tried to, and it may be definitely a Gemini or somebody who you know who has Jupiter in Gemini because in their natal chart, because they tried to just come out as one word. So I don't know, but I'm giving you what I was just given. So this is you can't choose, overthinking, scattered thinking. Like I said, you're scattered thinking. You can't make up your mind. You're giving yourself too much self-doubt, self-sabotage, pointless. You're going to keep yourself from the Queen of Swords cutting away what she truly needs to cut away. If she's stuck in rotten energy. She needs to know what is rotten and what the hell needs to go. Yes. So she can't get off with her head. But she also needs to know that she knows all the facts. And she's not just jumping, too scattered, too and then wishing that she made a different decision, is what I feel like. This is definitely overthinking energy. Go after what it is you truly want. This is all good to know, is what Spirit's saying. And I completely understand. Because they just started messing with my crown chakra. Go with what is the higher elevated enjoyment, the higher elevated understanding. This is about the heart speaking to the head and knowing what's right, not letting the head rule the heart, but the heart rule the head, or at least come into balance. Because if you're stuck with the interference, if you're stuck with the overthinking, and the negative fluidity of the rottenness, then her sword is gonna cut very sharply, including some things that she doesn't really want to be cutting, is what I feel like. Because I'm being told, here's the star, this is also the Aquarius card, but this is the righteousness of the light is there. This is talking to you about the soul's desire. Go after the soul's desire. This also is an Aquarius too. But I'm always shown this card in Hebrew as the hook. Like if you were going fishing and you threw your hook out there, what do you want to hook? You don't want the smallest fish in the sea. You want the best thing you can hook. Go after what is the best thing you can hook. And cut all the other bullshit away. Go after what is your soul's desire. And all of the other rottenness, let it fall away. Cut it away. And don't even waste your time and energy in it. This is basically what I'm being given. Because you also have the Emperor which is showing up right here in the beginning of July. And the Emperor speaks to you of domination. It speaks to you of thought, speech, action. It speaks to you of leadership, of length, width, and depth. It also is an Aries sign. It's fire. But it also is, you know, power over others in general and being a natural leader or entrepreneur. So it could go in two different directions because you're being given all of that cut it away negative rotten shit right in the beginning. Told to go after the star, and that you're giving the Emperor. So, I mean, I'm not going to go any deeper than that because there's too many of you for me to go any deeper. I mean, as you understand what your life is, you should understand if that Emperor is a good Emperor or if it's something who you're being warned of, more or less, is what I'm getting. And I feel like I'm not supposed to go any deeper on that one because each and every one of you who this is connecting with, your own life, you'll be able to know that. Now, let's see. Aries. Seriously, we're going there? Well, that's odd. Let me double check. I have not used a Doreen Virtue book in a while. So let me validate what I'm seeing here before I jump into it any further. Because they're pulling me into a past life deck, and I don't know necessarily that it's a past life, or if they're just using it as an example. Because they've already pulled the card. But I don't want to prematurely just start speaking. So, 75. Like I said, they're taking it in a whole different direction than what I thought it was going to go. So, okay, what do I know? Well, let's do the spirit. You drew this card as validation of your suspicion. You were accused of witchcraft, being heathen, or of other crimes in the past. Now, remember, this does not necessarily mean, because we're not doing a past life regression here. This probably means something that you've been dealing with will strike a chord right now. You're suffering greatly as a result of the situation, of the fear that was carried, and the fear that has been carried and brought onto you in your life. In the past, this character, your character and behaviors were examined publicly. You were banned. You were blamed for corrupt failures, death, and none of it had anything to do with you. Your neighbors and the government said that you were casting spells, that you were, you know, the capital offense within the situation. This has to do with, like I said, I off the top of my head, I wasn't sure where it was going. I'm just going to go straight to where it says, to heal this. Know that in this current life, right now, as you're starting to spiritually evolve and move forward, and what I just told you need to let go of the rot, more or less, in some of your situations. Spiritual teachers, healers, are not feared in the same way. You agreed to the incantation at this time, and with that being said, it is knowledge of your lifetimes, of the past lifetimes, so whatever you've dealt with from whatever you've learned in the past, you already know what needs to be done. That's really what this is coming down to. You've been ridiculed for something. Somebody's blaming you, ridiculing you. This is where the rotten energy is coming from. Something about this is what they're using this card to get it through my thick head. Something about what's going on in your future as you move forward. You're finding maybe right now in the beginning of July that you might be being ridiculed about something. Somebody's pointing the blame at you. I said a lot of this has to do with your self-awareness, your throat chakra, your sacral chakra, and your crown. You already know deep in your soul what has to be done. You already know what people are going to think, and you already know what people are going to do. And as much as I hate to say it, fuck them. You already know what you need to do. Like I said, the very first thing they were showing you was the Star card and the Emperor. There's something very powerful about that right now. You know what you need to do and move in that direction. Is there anything else, or was you just going after that card? Yep, they just wanted that card out there, so there was a reason why they were pulling it. So whoever it is that I am connecting with, I hope that that was helpful for you. Ah, you are in here. You just took a minute to raise. Alrighty. What does Aries need to know? What energy do they need to understand as they move forward, to help them keep moving forward in the most positive and healing way? For Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. Get past all this funky junk that looks like this trying to consume them, give them trouble. What is the energy they need to understand as they're moving forward? Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, Aries signs. What is helpful for Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, Aries signs? These don't have reverse or anything, so it doesn't matter how they are. Which one's more important? Okay, first off, they're giving me modesty. This is from my I Ching deck. Energies from I Ching speak of what is it tells you what the energy is, and it also tells you more or less what created the energy. So this is speaking of what you need to understand in order to move forward. It's all about in moderation, humility, keep it simple, lack of presentation, self-respect, sincerity, receptibility. It's created by receptive energy, by yielding energy, supportive energy, intuitive energy, development energy. It is considered the womb, like the birthing, like the child that's in the womb and hasn't been birthed yet. So this is, coming into that yielding, that supportive, that healthy, healing, receptive, learning energy of the womb versus maturity, spiritual, soulful maturity of keeping still, meditation, and enduring. So you're learning what it is that's right for you. You're learning how to trust you. You're learning how to be honest with yourself. You're learning how to find your power. You're learning to not need to deal with the rotted bullshit, but you're learning to understand what you do need to deal with. Okay? This is to give away so that you can limit the situation. What part of you are you supposed to be giving away so you can limit what you don't want in your life? Then you have restlessness, which is also coming in. Restlessness speaks to you of determination. Hold on. Determination, no compromise, unweaving forces, inner resolve, integrity, the test of the character themselves. It is the self-examination. It is what creates it, the restlessness, is the joyous lake, the pleasurable, going after the pleasurable, going after the sexual, going after how you are expressed in yourself, like pleasurably expressing your life. This is transformation. This is a transformation for you because it's versus creative energy for authority, creative authority, strength, and inspiration. So you're fighting the restlessness within yourself, it seems like, to open it up, to empower yourself. This just says, more or less, you're having to do what you're having to do. Take that time, slow down, is what they're saying. Slow down so that you can get yourself in the right direction, make those right decisions, and that's too many, and come back and know that what the decisions you made, you're not unhappy with. Is there anything else? The receptive itself, which speaks to you of the yielding, the yin principle, devoted, patient, supportive, responsive, intuitive, earth, mother. This is yielding, supportive, and intuitive in general. Receptive energy. Takes me right back to where we were just talking, because receptive was already in this, in one of them. This is, you need to slow down, do your meditation. It's the womb. Take the time for yourself to figure out exactly who and what and the direction it is. Don't be the Queen of Swords and jump too fast. Find out what it is you truly want, you truly desire, who you truly are, and the direction that you need to be. Take that time for yourself. It's like they said, even Odin in mythology hung himself, from the tree, from the great tree for 7 days so that he could learn the secrets. Sweetie, you're no better than Odin. Even Odin had to take the 7 days to get his lessons learned. So take the time for yourself. Learn and grow from the wisdom of your feelings. You are allowing yourself to befriend rather than to deny them. This feels like it's a very spiritual growing time for you. And that's a good thing. I mean, you have to know who you are in order to spiritually grow and learn who you are by the things that you have to learn about yourself. Master the steps you are on. Is there anything here? Because I thought I felt something. Nope. Wait. Why are you hiding on me? I'm being all difficult. Nope. Alright, I want to shuffle one more time. If it's there, tell me. Thank you. Always look for the good, even in the most difficult situations. And I feel like for you, this is internally, not externally. I love you guys. I feel like you're very much on a pivotal point of moving your life. But like I said, so much of this, I said Medusa was in your universal first house. Has to do with, really, truly, getting to the root of you. And then you'll start to truly move forward. Slow down for a minute. Take some time on you. I love you all. And I'll see you for the second part of July. Bye.